Good morning once again, everyone. I just got to say, it's so good to see so many of you here. I can't believe how many people are at Daily Mass. There are more people here on a Wednesday morning than you find in other churches on a Sunday morning. And that fills my heart and the heart of Jesus with so much joy. Keep on coming. Great to be with you. Back in the 1990s, in the world of science, you may remember that the Human Genome Project was all the rage. From 1990 to 2003, for 13 years, scientists worked feverishly to map the human genome. And onlookers were speculating wildly about the potential outcomes of mapping the human genome. People were saying that it was going to eradicate killer diseases, that it was going to lead to the cloning of animals and humans, that it was going to lead to the manufacture of replacement limbs and organs, that they were going to be able to create new breeds of crops and livestock, and even it was going to lead to bodily immortality. And even if many of those predictions were a bit exaggerated, the scientists working on the Human Genome Project were all very aware that what they were doing had great implications for all of humanity. Well, at one point, in the midst of that project and all the feverish activity that went into it, one of the leaders of the project, a Nobel laureate, allowed himself a brief pause for an interview. And in the course of the interview, this is what he said, and I quote, "So much is happening so fast that we are in a constant state of excitement and hardly have time to think." Now, presumably what he meant by that was we're working around the clock. But the people who were listening closely to his words and taking them very literally found that statement chilling. If anybody should have been thinking clearly and deeply about what they were doing, it was this man and his team working on this project that had such implications for humanity. And yet there he was on national TV saying, "We hardly have time to think." Well, my friends, you and I are currently engaged in a project with far greater implications for humanity than the Human Genome Project. And that project that we're working on is called life. The decisions that we make in life ultimately lead us to heaven or hell for all eternity. The decisions that we make in life have a profound effect on other people. The things we say and the things we do either damage people severely or build people up. If you have kids or grandkids, or if you work with children, you have young souls in your hands. The things you say and do to children determine the adults they become, and that determines the future of our world. Scientists tell us that one flap of a butterfly's wings in Texas can start a tornado in Brazil. That's an analogy for our decisions. Every decision we make has a profound impact on humanity and the rest of the world and the future of the world, which means that life is a far greater project than the Human Genome Project. And that means that in life, we simply cannot afford to ever become so busy that we don't have time to think. In today's gospel, Jesus is very busy. First, he cures St. Peter's mother-in-law who's sick with a fever. And then we're told that in the evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. We're told that the whole town was gathered at his door, that he cured many who were sick, and he drove out many demons. Jesus is busy. But here's the key line. We're then told, rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place where he prayed. And right there, not through his words, but through his example, Jesus says to each one of us, in life, you can never afford to become so busy that you don't have time to think. Now, when I say think, I don't mean sitting around thinking about life. I'm talking about engaging in all of those spiritual practices that keep us grounded in God and grounded in the truth of who we are and the truth of human life. Talking about things like making time for meditation on the Bible, making time for mental prayer, conversation with Christ, making time for spiritual reading, making time for Eucharistic adoration, making time to sit in silence in an empty church before a tabernacle, making time to get to Mass on a Wednesday morning, making time for a retreat, making time for days and evenings of recollection. Those are the classic spiritual practices that our faith offers us that keep us grounded in God and grounded in the truth of who we are and the truth of human life. I don't know anybody these days who says they're not busy. We're all busy with things. We're not busy healing the sick or exorcising demons, but we are busy with our jobs if we have jobs. We're busy driving our kids all over the county for all the activities they have to do. We're busy with our doctor's appointments and our DMV appointments, returning our phone calls, returning our emails, meeting with our kids' principals, dealing with online learning. We're busy. We're all busy. But we can't afford to become so busy that we don't have time to think. The things that we're busy with may not seem very significant, but to the contrary, they are. Because everything we do in life, everything, leaves a dent on the world, for good or for ill. And that's why each one of us must dare to have the courage every day to follow Jesus' example and to go off to a deserted place and pray. If we do every day, then we will never become so busy that we don't have time to think.